baby. All right, good morning, everybody. How you doing? It is Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. It is the Hat and Beard Show. You are locked in. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. It's what we love about you. Today, boys and girls, we are going to be discussing, yes, indeed, actually. I had to do a bit of digging. One of my favorite songs of all time, You're So Vain by Carly Simon. I was reading, and yes, Mick Jagger, in fact, did sing backup vocals on You're So Vain, according to the Huffington Times, I believe. Huff Post. Carly Simon herself confirmed this. And if you listen very closely, at roughly the 1 minute and 42 minute mark, when they go into the chorus, you can actually, if you listen for it, you can distinctly hear Mick Jagger. So that's what I was doing before we got rolling into the show. But today, guys, we have a little article here that I found from USA Today for our national news segment. Now, I could go into all 30 teams kicking off OTAs this week, but no, I'm not gonna, because that's silly, and the only pajama practices we care about around here are your Detroit Lions. So we will be looking at an article from USA Today, Busted Knees, a Fractured Throat. I wonder who that could be about. Don't forget, harsh price NFL players pay. This is a story as part of a series by the USA Today called Project June. Well, they will be publishing at least one NFL-themed story every day throughout the month because fans know the league truly never sleeps. I did skim this over. It has a good little tidbits of things that I am a big advocate for here at the Hat and Beard Show, and that is, players being able to walk away while they can still walk away. It ties into what we talked about last week when, obviously, the big news coming out of Allen Park was our Frank Ragnow announcing his retirement. Some might say preemptively, but when a guy is as broken down as he is, a fractured throat, well, that's kind of a dead giveaway that he will be focused on the article a little bit. But it's an interesting read, so we'll be covering that today, as well as something that I kind of put up in the poll here for you guys to go ahead and take a look at. If you haven't already, go ahead and check that poll out. What are your expectations for Terrion Arnold this year? That you can go with, he's going to be cornerback 1, no doubt. Or cornerback 2, we spent the big money on DJ Reed. Will he have the cornerback 1 lockdown, forcing Terrion Arnold to stay in his role at the number 2 spot? There is, of course, the third option, but the wrong option, and that is he will be hitting a sophomore slump. And we know that's not going to happen here in the Motor City, not with TA repping the number 6 now that he's transitioning over from number 0, Agent 0, Sub-Zero, wearing number 6 in homage for one of his collegiate players. I can't remember the guy's name right now off the top of my head. But good morning, everybody. How you doing? Good morning. I'm Chase. Good to see you here this morning, bud. Sam Armstrong, morning, my guy. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in so regularly, man. You are really plugging away. Brent DeWitt, Rip Sly Stone was my first concert. Oh, no shit. 1975. I was but just a twinkle in my dad's ball sack at that age, or that year. John Cole! Good morning, John Cole! Bro! Good to see you, dude! My guy! Hey, man, that's an MVP move right there, John Cole. John Cole, me, John Cole, I'm chasing Chase. You guys, we all go back to the old days, like high school, maybe even before high school. I can't ever remember. I know me and Chase met in 8th grade. John Cole, I can't remember if we went to Washington Woods together or not. If not, at the very least, 8th grade, just like I'm chasing Chase. So we all go way back. And good morning, Jeanette Hall. I love Frank Ragnow, but I'm happy for him. I am also happy, as I said, players being able to walk away from the game while they're still able to walk away from the game. It will be a big gaping hole in the middle of our offense, both production-wise and morale-wise. Frank Ragnow, I think, was a big fan favorite, at least here at the Hat and Beard Show, and he will be sorely missed. But the article we will be reading about that ties into the poll here is Terrion Arnold making an impact on new Detroit Lions veterans. Normally, it's veterans helping out young players in the league, but Detroit Lions cornerback Terrion Arnold is reversing that role with 2 new players. We will go ahead and dive into that. Our guy Jeremy Reisman wrote a nice article here that we'll be poking around at. And time permitting, we are running a little bit late. I'm not going to lie, fellas. Got a little cold last night. I'm a sweaty boy, so one of us in this studio slept really, really well last night and kind of overslept, thus sacrificing time. But you know what? It's the off season and it's Tuesday, so we're going to make the best of it. So we got a 5-minute late start. We, time permitting, will be rolling back over to USA Today. Free agent Za'Darius Smith, quote, hopefully I can get back to Detroit. We will kind of see if there's any fire behind this smoke or if it's just another fluff piece where people are trying to fill out some off-season article reads. And they got me, yay, right on the old hook, line, and sinker on that one. But, boys and girls, if you haven't already, would you kindly walk on over to that subscribe button if you're new here. Subscribe to the channel so that you can be part of the Hat and Beard Show Monday through Wednesday with plans to expand 5 days a week. We'll be making that announcement here really soon on when you can anticipate 5 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of Hat and Beard Show. As well as, if you like what we're doing here so far, go ahead and assault that like button. Go ahead and hit it with the old two-piece and a biscuit. While you're there, the the best thing you can really do for me here is share this content around with all your friends. Right now, I completely understand in today's well-cultivated, groomed, and curated social media profile presence, probably not the best thing you want to do to tell your grandma that you follow the Hat and Beard Show, who does broadcast live from Grandma's Studio One. So what you can do for me, so you can just click the share button. Copy the link down on your clipboard. Go ahead and do that 2, 3, 4 times. It shows the algorithm that it's being shared around, but you don't have to affiliate with me, and I get it. I don't want to affiliate with myself. And finally, I know what you're asking. You're like, oh, my Lord, Hat and Beard. I love this content. I can't get enough of your gingery face and steaming hot Detroit Lions content. How can I be a part of the live show? Well, my friend, that's very, very easy. All you have to do is ring that notification bell, and you will be notified every time we go live. You can be a part of the morning conversation, all the rigmarole and tomfoolery that my guys get up to down there in the chat. And honestly, the chat is a huge part of the show. You guys keep me going, keep me on my toes. And most of the time, you guys have your finger on the pulse more than I do. I've literally had my opinions changed live on show pretty regularly when presented with good arguments. So, yeah, okay. So now that we did all the call to action stuff, let's get into the show.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
All right, guys. Man, I was thinking in the woods or junior high back in the 1700s, John Cole. Hey, it's good to see you here, though, John. Sam Armstrong. TJ Watt is sitting out of camp right now. Well, he is 30 years old. I'm sure he's earned the right to. Is there a reason, or is it just age situation? Could you imagine Watt and Hutch? You are kind of new here, Sam. Yeah, we had a pretty lengthy discussion during the draft period because there was some rumor about the Lions potentially trying to move some picks around to acquire a TJ Watt from Pittsburgh, and that was something that we dove into quite heavily. What it came down to, at least on my end, was whatever you sacrifice in a trade for TJ Watt, be it draft capital or a player, will you get enough value out of him with let's be honest, no more than 4 years of strong production value before he'll have to kind of go probably more or less. And I'm not saying this is set in stone, but historically transition into like that Von Miller type role, that Ndamukong Suh type role where, you can sit out 2, 4, 6 weeks as a free agent before you decide to pick where you want to go and chase a ring type situation. But imagining TJ Watt and Aiden Hutchinson on the same defensive line here in Detroit, donning the Honolulu blue, makes me very happy in my pants. Unfortunately, I think it's all just going to be a dream, a wet little dream. Ragnow literally left it all on the field. Thank you for being a true warrior. Yeah, Brent DeWitt, I'm glad we are on the same page. Frank Ragnow. The only thing other than a Super Bowl ring that I wish Frank Ragnow would have gotten. I wish Frank Ragnow could have gotten a Super Bowl ring here in Detroit. You know what I mean? That'd be awesome because obviously the Lions would win a Super Bowl. But certain guys almost deserve to climb the ultimate, the summit of the ultimate mountain there and win a Super Bowl championship. You wish he could have done it, as well as the only other thing I wish Frank Ragnow could have gotten is I wish he came so close to winning the Walter Payton Man of the Year award 2 years ago. And that is One of those two things, considering, I think you see 3,400 offensive snaps, only 6 career sacks, regularly ranked top 1, top 3 centers in the NFL, played at an all-pro level year in and year out on trash can teams, was drafted by one of the worst regimes in NFL history, the Quintricia era. Had Frank Ragnow acquired the hardware on his hand or the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, I think that would give him just enough of an edge to get into Canton. Unfortunately, without either of those two accolades, I just don't see Frank Ragnow being able to get to the ultimate enshrinement in the NFL, and that is to be inducted into a Gold Jacket Hall of Fame enshrinement. However, that could change. But the NFL really does have a lot of emphasis on people going into the Hall of Fame. You can't tell the story of the NFL without this player, and without the two chunks of hardware, one or the other, if not both, that would have been a perfect storm. I just don't think he has enough on a national scale to get himself into the Hall of Fame, though I do think he gets obviously inducted into the Lions Ring of Honor. That's almost a no-brainer for me there. But this article here, we got busted knees, a fractured throat. Don't forget harsh price NFL players pay. Mike Freeman wrote this article, 6:03 a.m. Oh, look at Greg Olson, cheesing like a big dick. Excuse me. I got to hit this oil can here, fellas. We are a little bogged down this morning. I'll read your chats here in a second, fellas. I'm sorry. There was a player who retired from the NFL recently, and he isn't one of those blockbuster names you'll know. He is still important, and he's important because he's a reminder of the cruel reality of the sports so many of us love. Terrion Armstead played 12 seasons in the NFL, most recently with the Miami Dolphins. Armstead was only 33 years old when he retired. In many, quote, normal jobs, you're just starting at 33. Not the NFL. Armstead recently appeared on The Nightcap show with his and said his career is at the point where he could only play in games if he used pain-killing medications, which is a terrible situation to be in. Then he described something stunning. He originally injured his knee in 2015, but it never fully healed. There is a video I just watched related to, not NFL content, but Patrick CC, who is a great YouTube content creator, strongly recommend checking him out, just did I think a 40-minute long documentary about Jesus Christ, Kurt Angle. Was Kurt Angle, Chase, if you're active, dude, could you correct me if I'm wrong, was Kurt Angle a Olympic wrestler then turned professional wrestler? Am I correct in that? I don't really feel like looking it up, to be honest with you. But there's this great video, and it talks about how he had to, at one point, was taking like 63 painkillers a day or something like that. Some astronomical number, until like eventually he just ended up like forcing himself to like his sister died or something like that because she was using H and all this stuff. But anyway, the brutality. Yes. All right. Thank you, Chase. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. I was pretty sure it was Kurt Angle, and I'll send you the link to this Patrick CC video, dude. It's really good, man. But just talks about the wear and tear that these guys put on their body, and because of, when you are in the elite, the 1% of the 1% at the top end of the athletic hierarchy there, the margin for error is so small. And I'm not going to go through the whole inches speech from Any Given Sunday, but you must be at a high level all the time. So availability, especially in the NFL, availability is the best ability. If these guys end up taking significant time off, there is a chance that they lose their job. So some of these guys who are acquiring generational wealth, who teams have put tremendous amounts of money into their bank accounts for, it'll put pressure on them to get out there and play. You're 80%, that's good enough for me. Go out there. You know what I'm saying? And some of these players are going to push themselves. And unfortunately, more times than not, I think you see, well, actually, yeah, no, not more times than not, you see players overextend their careers and push themselves to the breaking point and then beyond, which is why it's such a odd scenario for us to see guys like Frank Ragnow retire on the southern side of 30. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the NFL. Quote, I've been dealing with a knee issue since my 3rd year in the league, Armstead said. I didn't see a practice field at all, and not because I didn't want to or the Dolphins just wanted me to rest. It's likely I couldn't walk. After game on Sunday, I wouldn't be able to walk on my own, under my own power until Wednesday or Thursday. So I was only able to play under the pain meds. I couldn't put any pressure on my knee. So it was like, I can't keep doing that to myself. And this is something that, especially as Lions fans, we are probably a little bit more accustomed to because we've seen it happen with Barry. We've seen it happen with Calvin. Now we see it happen with Frank Ragnow. And I, used to be, when I was younger and dumber, thinking, I want to see my players play forever and ever and ever, go out there and break your body down. And it was, I swear there was a video from the year that Pittsburgh won the Super Bowl with Jerome Bettis and Fast Willie Parker. No, Deuce Staley. What year did the bus win a Super Bowl? No. All right. Jerome Bettis. 2006, Jerome Bettis. Super Bowl. No, I swear there's a Jerome Bettis Super Bowl video. I'm not looking it up. All right, I'll look it up some other time. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it was the Super Bowl that the Lions hosted at Art Vanderlei. Yeah, I just happened to look up and see that. Yes, Art Vanderlei. It was hosted here at Ford Field. And I swear there was this video about, because it was like his last season, and about how broken down Jerome Bettis was. And they showed him at home, like barely being able to hobble through his house. And it was just excruciating to watch this guy just like, wow, you really did sacrifice everything, and now the rest of your life is going to be incredibly difficult. Now, yes, I do gripe about the ailments of the working man and how, I don't have the luxury of taking time off. Unfortunately, the reality is, I think that what you see as at least in professional sports, is a super spike of wear and tear on their body, and then an immediate cap off into retirement. Whereas most of us working schmucks kind of have just more of a middle of the road, just slowly deteriorate, and then we die. That's how that goes for us. It's far from uncommon for NFL players to deal with chronic pain, even when extreme. I've heard rumors, examples of this. Interestingly, the stories almost always come from after the player retires. We know about this part of the NFL, but none of us should forget it. Sure, no one forces them to do it. No one forces them to do it. Yes, they get tons of cash. It's prestigious. The problem is we continue to shift away from recognizing the human part of what players do. That's why I say we got to think about the player under the helmet. We are traversing further away from acknowledging them as human beings, like we're on a starship, and the helm is taking us away from our home world. That's a little bit weird. It's not just fantasy football that's doing this. Gambling is dehumanizing players in worse ways than fantasy football or anything else ever will. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Eric Winston, a former NFL offensive lineman and union executive, when once addressing the dangers of legalized gambling, spoke of the possible consequences, one of them being the further demeaning of athletes. Quote, a lot of people look at us as, I don't know, if it's subhuman, but not necessarily human, not necessarily having those feelings, those issues that everyone else is having. I don't think they look at you as subhuman. If anything, people look at athletes who are getting paid millions and millions of dollars to play a game as superhuman, which is why we put an emphasis on them being able to go down. Beantown, yo, what's up, brother? Long time no see. How you doing, man? Good to see you in here. Good to see you in here, my dude. It's much worse now. Why we sometimes need to take a breath, pause for a minute, just a minute, and remember why these NFL players go through. Players like Frank Ragnow. He retired at just 29. Ragnow was one of the league's great competitors and Ironmen. But the litany of things he played through reads like something from a screenplay for a movie about a chaotic ER. Ragnow played through ankle injuries 2019 and 2023, a concussion in 2019. This is the big one. This is the one that I'm like, y'all need to just really, this is big balls play right here. A fractured throat in 2020. Turf toe in 21 and 22. A groin injury in 22. His wiener got hurt. A calf injury in 22. Damn, in 22, he got banged up. A back injury in 22. A knee injury in 22. And a partially torn pectoral muscle last year. A fractured throat. One more time, a fractured throat. For the record, a fractured throat does not sound great, but beyond the catastrophic injuries are the ones that prevent players from living normal lives. Doing things like just walking around, bending, standing, driving. Ragnow once missed 13 games in 21 because of what he called, quote, the most severe degree of turf toe. He had a different injury to the same toe the following season and called that year one of the toughest of his career. He told the Detroit Free Press 2 years ago that surgery wouldn't help and he would just have to play through this for the rest of his career. It's difficult to believe it didn't play a part in his decision to retire. Again, at just 29 years old. And I tell you, dude, not being it like, not that a toe injury that will never heal until you absolutely like retire. Like, oh my God, dude, that would be so annoying. That would be so, and I'm pretty sure, but like turf toe, I'm pretty sure turf toe is where the toenail like separates completely away from the toe. It's gross. Quote, these past couple of months have been very trying as I've come to a realization that my football journey is ending. We've read this already multiple times. I've tried to convince myself that I'm feeling good, but I'm not, and it's time to prioritize my health and my family's future. I've given this team everything I have, and I thought I would give it more, but in reality, I simply don't. I have to listen to my body, and this has been one of the hardest decisions of my life. He did battle all the time. A lot of NFL players do. Most do, in fact. And as we watch them battle, don't forget what they are, human beings. Just a little something that I'm always kind of talking about is players being able to walk away while they can still walk away. So I'm going to get it back up here in the chat. Man, you guys have been going bananas, and I'm totally on board with it. All right, yep, thanks, John and Chase, both confirming that it was Kurt Angle. I appreciate that. He won a gold medal with a broken neck. That's right, yes. Yes, Kurt Angle won a gold medal with a broken neck and was able to like avoid almost any contact on his neck during that entire match. You know what I'm saying? He broke his neck multiple times after that, and he got hooked on painkillers. And he said he would never get hooked, and then he did because his sister was a H addict. I love that speech. Al Pacino was brilliant. Yes, dude, John Cole, that inches speech. It's a 6 inches in front of your face. Dude, I know that whole speech, word for word. It got burned into my brain playing ball. He's like an inch shorter now and can hardly turn his neck. Kurt Angle. No shit, dude. No shit. So did he end up having surgery on his neck or something to like take some of that shit out? Yep. Steelers and Seahawks or the Lions or Detroit hosted it. Benny Blades was one of my favorite players to watch laying the boom, but now he's got severe mobility issues. Yeah, exactly, dude. These guys get so banged up so bad. Lomas Brown is another one deserving. Yes, Sam Armstrong. You are right, dude. Lomas Brown was an animal, dude. Hell yeah. Dude, you know, Beantown, that's a very good question, my guy. I've never understood how one fractures one's throat, but because I don't know how one does that, it makes it seem infinitely more worse than whatever it really is. Just the thought of how does one fracture a throat makes it just seem worse than probably what it really was. He had neck fusion surgery, talking about Kurt Angle. He did a match a few years back, but he can only turn his head so far, and his neck is, oh, wow. Like half of Angle's neck is fused together from all the surgeries. Oh, my God. Wow, dude. So, well, obviously, he doesn't wrestle now. I mean, you can't do anything now. And that's what I'm talking about is these guys just destroying their bodies, just wrecking their shit in such a short amount of time and, like, not giving it time to heal, not being allowed to, like, properly rehab it. Just I don't want to say being forced, but forcing themselves, especially a guy like Kurt Angle, the way that he trained and stuff. That dude trained like a fucking maniac, dude. Fucking maniac. So that's what this article is about. It's about players being able to walk away while they can still walk away. You guys know I'm a big advocate for that. So We're going to go ahead and do a barrel roll on over to prideofdetroit.com. Terrion Arnold making an impact on new Detroit Lions veterans. This is coming from Jeremy Reisman. If you guys haven't already, would you kindly do me a rock-solid favor? Go ahead and assault that like button, hit it with the 2-piece and the biscuit on your way down to the share button, where you're going to go ahead and copy. Just go ahead and copy the link down on your clipboard. You don't actually have to share it around with anybody. And then, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so that you never miss out on any of our uploads. We go Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Look, we are the fastest growing NFL and Detroit Lions content creation station, streaming in the 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. block, exclusively broadcasting from his dead grandmother's sewing room from Broadcast Studio, Grandma Studio 1. Let's go. If you want to be a part of it and take part in the poll, go ahead and turn that notification bell on so you know what's going on. The poll right now, we got 11 votes. I appreciate that. What are your expectations for Terrion Arnold this year? Cornerback 1, no doubt, 36% of the vote. And it seems the majority of you understand the reality of the situation, and that is he's got to beat out DJ Reed, who we spent a good chunk of money on to bring in, and he is a very, very, very sticky man cover corner. And obviously all of you guys have at least selected two of the right answers, not picking the wrong answer, and that is he's going to hit a sophomore slump. That cannot happen. Not here, not in Detroit, not this year. I guess the only one example, but you got to give it to Barry Sanders leaving before any critical injuries could still being a star on the field. Yep, and that's John Cole. That's what we're saying is here in Detroit, we all are kind of accustomed to players preemptively retiring or prematurely retiring. I wouldn't say it's actually premature. Players got to do what players got to do. And, not to sound really, really crunchy, but sometimes a motherfucker's just got to listen to his body. Your body's not going to tell you the wrong thing. So down here, Terrion Arnold was one of many players who we didn't end up seeing on the field during pajama practices, as the Detroit Lions were overly cautious with many players during their spring practices. However, talking to some of the players who were in attendance, it appears the second-year cornerback is still managing to make a positive impact with the team. Normally, a young player like Arnold, they are taking in as much information as they can and being a sponge. With two new veteran additions to the secondary, cornerback DJ Reed and defensive back, kind of a hybrid safety corner mix of Vontae Maddox coming off a Super Bowl ring with the Philadelphia Eagles, Arnold now has a couple of resources to learn from in what could be a year 2 jump season. However, according to both players, Arnold is giving as much as he's getting. For Reed, Arnold, who has remained in Detroit during the offseason program, has been a great asset when it comes to learning the Lions' defensive scheme. He hit me up a couple days ago when I was practicing, and he was basically watching my film for me and telling me what I need to work on. And he was correct with what he emphasized I needed to work on. So the next day, I went out and I worked on that. That's a ballsy move by Terrion Arnold, a second-year corner, texting the vet, the big money vet, our big, shiny free agent acquisition, DJ Reed. And he's going, hey, Baratna, listen, you gots to do this differently. And DJ Reed goes, holy shit. The young dog's right. And he did it, and he worked on it. And that says things, that's big about two of the guys, both those guys. That says two huge things. One, the leadership, the mentality, and the ability of Terrion Arnold. He's ahead of where he should be as a second-year corner. And the psych profile, we talk about it a lot on this channel, of Brad Holmes going after a certain psych profile of players like DJ Reed, big money free agent acquisition, big veteran, big money, going, he's right. And being open, not only open to hearing it, but then going out and working on it. Yes, you read that right. A second-year cornerback is out there watching practice of 8-year veteran and offering sound advice. Pretty darn impressive for a 22-year-old. His youth is also coming in handy. Avonte Maddox is also entering his 8th NFL season, and he thrives off the youthful energy that Arnold, along with Enos Rakestraw, 23 years old, Kirby Joseph, 24, and Brian Branch, who's also 23 years old, brings to the room. Here's how he explained it to Detroit Football Network. Terrion is actually number one. I'm always telling him to take his medicine, calm him down a little bit. It lifts me up. it makes me feel like I'm back to when I was their age, just cracking jokes. They're like, what, 21, 22? I'm 29. I was jumping off the porch and walking around school when they were coming out the womb. I mean, oh, yeah, okay. All right, that's fair. I mean, you're not that old. You're not that old, Terrion Arnold. Jesus Christ, dude. You're over here, or Avante Maddox, you're over here sounding like me, 37 going on 80. Arnold is coming off the type of rookie season you'd expect from a first-round cornerback. There were flashes of really solid play mixed with a lot of learning opportunities, especially early on, but boy, was he able to really correct it after the bye week. That experience alone should help him progress in 2025. However, defensive backs coach Shea Townsend noted that Arnold is also going the extra mile this offseason. I think any expectations, anytime you get a chance to have as many reps as he had, it helps you. The only way you can get better is getting a chance to rep. He understands how they're attacking him, and he found out about himself. What do I do best? How can I make those strengths stronger and my weaknesses? What do I do now this offseason to make them better? Excuse me. Just conversating throughout the process before he got back. Quote, then he grabbed me right now. We were in the office watching a tape just now. He is trying to be the best player he can be, and that's what it takes. You have to work on your craft. You have to find out how you can get better this offseason, and he's working on that. So that is something, especially because with OTAs and Terrion not being there, he's not getting the hype as some Jameson Williams or Enos Rakestraw Jr. are getting. But he's still doing all of the little things right now. And that says a lot about the growth and development of Terrion Arnold. And I'm telling you, this guy is going to be lights out for us for a long, long time. We're going to roll over to the chat. I guess the only example... Oh, read that already. Sorry, John. Turf toe is in the main joint on the big toe. Hurts badly. I jammed mine one time and took me like a month to get over it, and it comes back. Ooh. So it is on the big toe. Ugh. The king of the toes. You know what I'm saying? King toe, and you're going to go ahead and fuck up king toe and expect the whole foot to operate without king toe? You're gonna bust up king toe and expect to go out there? No, hell no. Fuck that. I'd be pissed, dude. That sounds terrible. It's in the main joint. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. It's not for nothing, but that's why here at the Hat and Beard Show, we are a big advocate of safety first. Wear shoes in the house. I myself am that obnoxious guy who, even though I don't have to at work, I always have a safety-toed shoe on because you never really fucking know what's about to happen. Cornerback is the second hardest position to learn behind quarterback. I see great season coming for him. Brent DeWitt, I agree with both of those statements, and that is something that no one really emphasized very much on, and that is, Terrion Arnold took massive, massive steps during the season last year. Now, remember, we played in the NFC North, the toughest division in football. Okay, he had to play against the Packers and the Minnesota Vikings twice. Early on, he was getting abused by just being too grabby. He had too many pass interferences. Not enough takeaways, not enough pass breakups. As the season progressed, especially after the bye week, Terrion Arnold cleaned it up. To be able to take that type of step in a rookie year with all of the pressure put on you to be a lockdown number 2 corner, we nailed it. We knocked it out of the park. Brad Holmes, again, absolute rock-solid pick with Terrion Arnold, and this season he's going to take a massive step. I think Terrion Arnold is going to have... Does he go for more and get the thumb? Does he get the thumb number of INTs, or is he just all finger INTs this year? I think he's going to go all 4 finger INTs this year and get the thumb in the playoffs. I think that's what we're going to have with Terrion Arnold this year. That's what I would like to see out of him. All right, fellas, and we do have time. Good. We are doing well. Got a little bit of a late start, and we are going a little bit fast today, but you know what? It is what it is. We're doing great. You guys are tearing it up down in the chat. I really appreciate everybody hanging out. If you guys haven't already, before we get into this article, we're going to be heading back over to USA Today, but if you haven't already, would you kindly go ahead and assault that like button, hit it with the 2-piece and the biscuit on your way down to the share button where you can copy that link down to your clipboard and not tell anybody that you watch the Hat and Beard Show, but the algorithm can't tell the difference, at least yet. And then while you're there, if you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so that you can be notified every time we go live Monday through Wednesday, currently 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. with plans to expand to 5 days a week here in the next couple of weeks. We'll make a big announcement here coming up. So, USA Today, free agent edge, Za'Darius Smith. Hopefully I can get back to Detroit. Los Angeles free agent pass rusher. I'm sorry, from Los Angeles. He's not a Los Angeles pass rusher, but free agent pass rusher Za'Darius Smith is aware of where he wants to continue playing his career. His heart is still in Motown. We both know where I want to be, Smith told USA Today at the BET Awards. Hopefully I can get back to Detroit because the coaching staff and everybody in the front office are great. When I'm there, I feel like a leader and I can influence the young guys and do great things. Hopefully I can get back to where I want to be in Detroit. Smith played for the Baltimore Ravens, the Green Bay Fudge Packers, the Minnesota Dickhead Vikings, the Cleveland Brown Eyes, and your two-time back-to-back NFC North Division champs, Detroit Lions, during his NFL career. The Lions acquired Smith from the Brown Eyes last season ahead of the trade deadline. Detroit got Smith at a time in which the club desperately needed pass rush help following Aiden Hutchinson's season-ending leg injury. The veteran produced 12 tackles, 4 sacks, and 40 pressures in 8 games with the Lions, all without Hutchinson. Hutchinson, Smith, and defensive tackle Lee McNeil were the Lions' highest-graded pass rushers last year per Pro Football Focus. And that's saying a lot because Hutch went down week 6. Lee McNeil went down week, I want to say like 14, mid-teens, tore his ACL, MCL, which is going to unfortunately cost him a good chunk of time early on this year. Same with Malcolm Rodriguez. Hutchinson since has been cleared to return to football activities this offseason, and Smith believes the two of them can form a stout edge tandem. I'm still a veteran. He's still a young guy. I can help him with a lot of things. He's already great, but as a player, there are some tools that I know that I can help him with. And there are some things as a young guy that he can help me with. Smith is one of USA Today's top remaining free agents. He's compiled 333 tackles, 69 sacks, nice, and 173 QB hits in 140 career regular season games. The 32-year-old has shown this past season that he still has plenty left to give to a team. At this stage of Smith's career, though, the 3-time Pro Bowler wants to compete for a championship, and he's holding out hope that he'll chase a ring in Detroit. Quote, I'm going into year 11. As a veteran, a championship is the only thing that I'm missing. I did the sacks, All-Pro, Pro Bowl, so it's really just me getting a ring now and winning a championship. The reality of what's going on with Za'Darius Smith is he's been passed over. He's been passed over, and as we head into camp, as we head into training camp, Za'Darius Smith, I believe, will be a satellite guy. The problem is we have so many players along the defensive line currently in camp. And the Lions organization is very high on Marcus Davenport. You know what I'm saying? Does Za'Darius Smith come into camp? As it sits right now, there's just no room for him. It seems he's really trying to play the coach on the field aspect, really trying to say how much he can help Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not opposed to that, but unless he's willing to be real team-friendly on his contract for a third-down pass rush specialist who will be a rotationary third-down pass rush specialist currently as the roster sits, yeah, it's not going to be a $8 million a year deal. You know, it's got to be 5, no more than 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to roll on over to the chat here. Excuse me. Brad knows how to motivate players with his free agent signings. I agree, Sam Armstrong. Brad Holmes knows exactly what he's doing. Jeanette Hall says Arnold will be a 4-finger in the regular season and a thumb in the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah. I like where your head's at with that one, Jeanette Hall. He'll get his thumb INT. He'll seal the Super Bowl win with his pick 6 or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I like where your head's at with that. Brent DeWitt, Lions' decision to throw Terrion Arnold into the fire and ride the storm out is going to pay dividends this season. 5 INTs. Hell yeah, Brent DeWitt getting all one whole hand full of INTs. I absolutely love it. Art Vanderlei. Za'Darius is dating Cash Doll, who's from Detroit, so he might be our biggest recruiting asset. That's true. That is very true. And he fits what we're trying to do. The personality, the flashiness on the field, everybody loves it. The fans love it. The team's got to love it. He's a hype guy. He's Rasheed Wallace. You know what I'm saying? But he's past his prime, and he's got to be a very team-friendly contract. Keep Z and the D. I want to see him and Hutch together. LOL. Hell yeah, Brent DeWitt. I'm not opposed to it, but it comes down to dollars. It comes down to people in camp. We're already looking at fringe players just trying to get down to the roster who've been here for a while. I always want to say Michael Brockers, but who is that fat son of a bitch that we took out of Western Kentucky not too long ago? I keep saying Michael Brockers, but I know that's not the right guy. And we got Pascal. We obviously drafted Ahmed Hassanin. Marcus Poop Davenport is still here. And the organization, Calvin Shepard has heaped a lot of praise on what Marcus Davenport physically can do, the athleticism that he is, and he is really the bookend defensive end that we like to have here in Detroit. The problem is his availability is the best ability, and unless you can play, give me all 17 games, what goddamn good are you doing as a overpriced veteran at this point? You know what I'm saying? Broderick Martin, Brent DeWitt. That's exactly. It's always. Thank you, dude. I always be fucking up Broderick Martin, dude, because he's such a turd sandwich. You know what I'm saying? We also have Pascal. Levi Onwuzurike can play outside on the edge. Both those guys are kind of a tweener type player. Pascal more of a heavy edge. Levi Onwuzurike more of a light tackle. You know what I'm saying? We did bring in Roy Lopez. We drafted Tyleek Williams. So the defensive tackle room is already pretty full. The defensive end room is going to be pretty full. Is there going to be room? Is there going to be a need for Za'Darius Smith? Barring any injury, I mean, it's tough to fit him in as is. Hey, Mr. Detroit City, good morning, dude. Sorry I'm late, fellas. No worries, dude. We're unfortunately about to be wrapping up here pretty soon, though. I was running a little late and kind of blew through some articles here. There's not a lot. I mean, it's the slog of the offseason. Beantown Breakdown players will take pay cuts to play for the Lions. They are one of 5 teams that could legit win a championship. I agree, and that's part of the prestige. And you know this all too well, Beantown, about how players are happy to come to a championship organization, being that you got to live the greatest dynasty the NFL has ever seen. And when guys want to go after a ring, that's why we talk about guys like, the veteran guys who maybe want to, your TJ Watts, your Von Millers, your Za'Darius Smiths, you know what I'm saying? And the reality then comes down to what Sam Armstrong says right here. Yes, dude, Brad keeps his piggy bank tight. That's what I was going to say is Brad is setting us up for future financial success so that we can re-sign. He has a big monster year, Jameson Williams. So we can re-sign Aiden Hutchinson, Action Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, so that we can have a little bit of money to maybe go after a free agent acquisition that we need, not that we would like to have in camp. You know what I'm saying? Martin and Sorsdahl don't show out in preseason. They're both gone. Brent DeWitt, I completely agree. Broderick Martin had, we got a little hype on him last year at the end of the season, or at the start of training camp, because he kind of did the Aleem McNeil thing where he cut a bunch of weight, came in looking slim, and then promptly shit the bed. And Colby Sorsdahl, didn't hear much about him getting any reps at center at OTAs, which is what he was trying to transition over to, because he's historically played guard and tackle, and there's no room. There's no room for him, and he just doesn't play well when he's out there. He misses blocks. His feet are in cement. He tips his shoulders too far forward. I'm not wild about keeping him in camp. So yeah, if we got to get down the roster. Martin and Sorsdahl are easy cut candidates. What have you done for me lately? Let alone, or the reality is, what have you done for me ever? Sam Armstrong, Josh Pascal on the cut list. Levi, I don't know about Josh Pascal simply because of the contract, the rookie contract that he's still playing under is very salary cap friendly to the team. And we did just re-sign Levi Onwuzurike to a 1-year contract, but it's a mighty depth chart for both of those guys to try and overcome. Oh, excuse me. Pascal, I think, has a better chance of, if it came down to Pascal and Levi, I think Pascal makes the roster and Levi gets cut. Levi is getting buried farther and farther down the defensive tackle depth chart. There is mildly more opportunity for him to get some reps with Aleem being out, but when you bring in Roy Lopez and then draft the defensive tackle in the first round, you still got DJ Reader there to try and compete with. There's a lot of bodies, and Levi availability is the best ability. Also, Brad Holmes maybe does the gentlemanly thing and is like, there's not room for you here. But there is a lot of interest. There was a lot of interest. I think the Niners wanted to give him a big, hefty bag to come and play in San Francisco. So there will be a team that will go and pay both Levi Onwuzurike or a Josh Pascal if either of them become free agents. But if it came down to the two of them, Pascal, I think, makes the roster, is a little bit more versatile, and availability being the best ability. Brent DeWitt says Pascal has severely underperformed for a second-round pick. He looked like the depth piece and nothing more. I agree with you. He has grossly underperformed, and that draft was one of those things where Brad Holmes did that double dip shit that he likes to do. We did it with Arnold and Rakestraw. We did it with Hutch and Pascal. Now, Pascal coming out of a smaller school, a little bit more of a winger. Can he finally take that big step this year? This is kind of his prove-it year. Does he get 6+ sacks? Can he ascend the depth chart? Can he beat out guys like Marcus Davenport? Or, does he just continue to flounder, forcing us to bring in a Za'Darius Smith? Brad's double dips haven't worked out. Hang on real quick. Carrie Simich. Hey, Carrie, I seen you were commenting on my video yesterday, dude. Welcome. Sorry I can't pronounce the last name there. I'll look at Terrion Arnold's performance after the season. He had to take a lot in for the first season. Agreed. And he did take a lot in, and I think he's that guy that can absorb, learn, and develop from everything that he's seen last year. And the evidence that I would be citing for that is what he's doing with helping DJ Reed grow and integrate into our defense just by watching his videos. Brad, double dips haven't worked out, at least not with Pascal. I agree with you there. We still need to see, though, Mr. Detroit City, if Enos Rakestraw Jr. can ascend. That would kind of throw a little bit, that would curve the grading scale a little bit there. But yeah, Pascal hasn't really worked out. Onwuzurike hasn't worked out. But, just because the player hasn't worked out, it could be the inverse. You know what I'm saying? When he double dips, he is doubling up his odds of success for that position. I'm not saying that he went after the guys like Enos Rakestraw or Josh Pascal per se, but maybe they had them on their board high enough to take them, obviously. But in the event that, say, Aiden Hutchinson didn't work out, but Pascal did, that draft class is still a success, even though your first-round pick didn't work out. Terrion Arnold, say he doesn't work out, but Enos Rakestraw does. Again, that draft class is then a success, even though your first round pick wasn't a success. Does that make sense? He's doubling up his odds of success for that position that he's going after in that draft class. This is a struggle of being a consistent championship contender. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions with players and the roster. And that's something that we have to try and learn here in Detroit, Beantown, and it's not something we're accustomed to. This offseason has been very new to the Detroit Lions. We have lots of players that want to play here, and we're going to have to start making cuts from players that we don't need. For years and years and years and years, the Lions have had to rely on whatever would be available. Well, whoever we could entice to come here and play, suit up for the Honolulu Blue and go out and get the shit kicked out of them week in and week out. You know what I mean? Be a laughing stock, And now, this last offseason, we've seen players want to come here. We've seen a couple players leave, like Ifeanyi Melifonwu getting a 1-year prove-it deal. That's a reserve player from the Lions going to a team signing a contract. We've seen it with our coaching staff, not just the coordinators, but the assistant coaches, all getting poached away. And that's something that Beantown, you are accustomed to, being that you got to live through the greatest dynasty the NFL has ever seen currently. It's something that we're not quite there yet with Detroit. It's still kind of new to us, and that's like now when we get into the cutting of players, we're starting to get into players who, we're going to have to move on from some players that some of us may have learned to like, but it's not the player that's going to give us the best odds to win. Carrie Simchitich. Can I just call you Carrie? I have like a 6th grade reading level. Simchitich. I like Carrie. I'm sorry, dude. My bad. Beantown Bergen agreed. It's easier to get good than to stay good. Can't pay everyone. Exactly, Brent DeWitt. You can get there, but the trick is to maintain being at an elite level and then ascending to the ultimate level, right? Jamarco Jones is going to ball out, is he? Who's Jamarco Jones? Not sure. Does he play for Detroit? I'm not sure who that is. Cool. I appreciate being cool with that, Carrie Simchich. Carrie. I'm dumb, dude, and I got to learn how to spell things out phonetically. And so I sound everything out, which is why I spell cat, K-A-T. You know what I'm saying? Because it's how it sounds. And that's why at 37 years old, you guys hear me struggling through these articles, just stumbling and bumbling, but I appreciate you tuning in. Oh, okay, Jamarco Jones plays offensive line. Gotcha. See, Brent, dude, you are on top of it, dude. You are on top of everything, dude. Like, seriously, my guy. Boom. And because of that, Brent DeWitt, there you go. You can join the Blue Wrench crew. We haven't had talent and depth like we've had under Brad Holmes and Dan. From ex-season ticket holder, been watching the Lions since I was 9, 42 years ago. Damn, Sam, you are a longtime fan, dude. Same here. I don't care what they call me as long as they're calling. Am I right? Exactly, Mr. Detroit City. Exactly. Jones is good O-line if he can keep his anger issues under control. Gotcha. Well, look at that. Oh, we managed to make it. Not quite an hour because we were a little bit short rolling out of the gate this morning, but, what can I say? Took advantage of the cool night and got some good sleep-ish. And then decided to oversleep a little bit. But today, for the Hat and Beard Show, boys, we talked about busted knees, a fractured throat. Don't forget harsh price players play to pay in the NFL. And this coming from USA Today, we talked about some recent retirees and how some of them citing, look, man, my body just can't do it anymore, most notably. Here in Detroit, we're familiar with that, with old Frank the Tank Ragnow getting, what some people might call a premature retirement, but taking his health and his whole life's future and prioritizing that and his family above, chasing a ring. And then we talked about Terrion Arnold making an impact on new Lions veterans, how he's taking a massive step in the development, not only for himself, but helping integrate the big money, big free agent acquisition DJ Reed, as well as Avonte Maddox into our defensive scheme, helping kind of coach those guys up, which is a monster step to say about a guy who's entering his 2nd year, as well as I can't wait to see what he does on the field, get him into training camp, really start letting things rocking and rolling, throw some pads on these guys and let them go out there and make plays. We're calling for him to have 5 INTs here at the next season. 4 during the regular season and 1 during the playoffs. I like Jeanette Hall's very specific. He gets his 5th INT in the Super Bowl, and I love that take. That's an awesome take. And we rolled back over to USA Today to go ahead and just kind of throw a little bit of gasoline on a bullshit fire, and that is free agent Za'Darius Smith is hopefully I can get back to Detroit now that we're getting later into the offseason as we get to the cusp of the start of the preseason, if you will. The training camp start opening up. Za'Darius Smith's still waiting for a team to say, hey, come play here. And now he's like, I really want to play in Detroit. Please, Detroit, take me back. Getting a little bit desperate. Kind of got a little bit of a stank on him. But you know what? I liked Za'Darius Smith when he was here in Detroit. I liked the pizzazz on the field. If he could just maybe have a little bit more pressure rate, a little bit more of a, at this point in your career, you're a one-trick pony, you're a third down rush edge, but I really need you to start getting home. And he could be a guy who completely goes bananas when you have somebody like Aiden Hutchinson on the opposite end, a man-possessed, fully healthy, 69 sacks this season coming out of Aiden Hutchinson in his way, in route to winning not only defensive MVP, but NFL MVP. Za'Darius Smith could definitely benefit from that. One last time down at the chat, don't call me Shirley. Fair enough. Have a great day, everyone. One Pride Worldwide. Brent DeWitt, have yourself a good rest of the day, guy. We appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. Carrie, did you retract that, or did the stupid stream bot? I'm sorry, man. Oh, don't want him for 15 mil. Hell no, don't want Za'Darius Smith for 15 mil, dude. I'm not willing to pay more than 6 mil for Za'Darius Smith. That includes a signing bonus. I ain't paying that kind of money for no one-trick 32-year-old pony. Hell no. I'd rather his ass go to the glue factory than pay 15 mil. Send you some hearts on that one, Carrie. I agree with that. Well, fellas, it is now 11 a.m. We successfully completed another episode of the Hat and Beard Show, Tuesday edition for June 10th, 2025. I appreciate... Oh, Hendrickson. Yeah, Carrie, I agree with you. Hendrickson. I wouldn't pay 15 mil for Hendrickson either. Again, wrong side of the age curve when we can piecemeal together our end, allow Aiden Hutchinson to go bananas, and then possibly look to draft a complimentary rush edge in next year's draft. And we'll take one last look at the poll here. What are your expectations for Terrion Arnold? 27% of you said cornerback 1, no doubt. Wow, we had 15 votes. Holy rippers, fellas. Man, you guys went crazy on the votes today. 73% of you say he's got it. The CB2, while Reed has the cornerback 1 on lockdown, and I would be inclined to agree with that. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the poll. Hitting the gym. Get your butts out there. Sam Armstrong. Brother, that's what I'm talking about, dude. I wake up every morning. The first thing that I do is I do morning mobility exercises, get my pre-workout creatine and iodine shake in. Well, shake's just water in me, and then directly out to the garage gym, because the only way to stay healthy is to be healthy. You got to work out, dude. You got to maintain the machine, dude. Get your butts to the gym. You almost sound like, who is it? What's this guy? Go to the gym. Go to the gym. Oh, come on. I know him. Phil Labonte, the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains, an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. He's a big guy for advocating people to go to the gym. I am in that same boat. So get to the gym, guys. Work out. And if you can't get to the gym, go for a walk. Go for a walk. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you for tuning in, giving me a shot, man. We're here every Monday through Wednesday, so we'll be here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we will be making announcements on when we're going to go 5 days a week here as we inch ever closer to the start of the regular season. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Fastest growing Lions podcast, fastest growing Detroit Lions and NFL content creation station from the 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. block, streaming exclusively from his dead grandmother's sewing room from Grandmother Studio One. It's the Hat and Beard Show. If you haven't already, would you kindly subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so you can be part of the active conversation. The chat is what makes it. I'm just one man sitting here reading what they put out for me, and you guys are the ones that keep things spicy and keep me on my toes. I genuinely appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. Guys, until next time, I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Bonga bonga.